You don't know my hell. You don't know what it feels like to walk through this life dragging chains no one else can see. You think the scars on my hands tell the story, that the battles I've fought, the victories I've claimed, they define me? No, they are shadows of a truth so raw, so brutal, even I can barely face it. I am not a hero. I am not the warrior they sing about in their songs or carve into their history books. I am the forgotten, the broken, the one who fought wars not for glory, but to survive. They call me strong, but they don't see the nights I fall apart. They don't hear the sound of my soul shattering into 1,000 unfixable pieces. They don't know what it's like to lie awake, staring into the dark, praying for silence, but only hearing the screams of my own mind. I've seen too much, felt too much. Pain doesn't just visit me, it lives in me. It has made a home in my chest, wrapped itself around my heart, whispering that I'll never be enough. Do you know what that's like? To carry wounds so deep they become part of you? To wear your grief like armor, not because it protects you, but because it's the only thing holding you together? Don't call me a survivor. Survivors find peace. I have no peace. All I have is a war that never ends, a war that no one else sees. I wake up every day fighting demons no one else can name. I wear my smile like a mask, my strength like a lie, because the truth would crush anyone who dares to look too closely. You think you've suffered? You think you've seen hell? Let me tell you what hell really is. Hell is watching everything you love burn and knowing you're the one who lit the match. Hell is trusting people who smile in your face but carve you up behind your back. Hell is standing in a crowd of people and feeling so alone you'd trade your soul just to be seen. Really seen. But they don't see, do they? No. They look at me and see a warrior. They see strength where there's only exhaustion. They see courage where there's only fear. They see a fighter when all I am is a man trying not to drown. And yet, I keep going. You want to know why? Because giving up isn't an option. Because no one else will fight my battles. No one else will carry this weight. I've learned that the world doesn't care about your pain. It doesn't care how broken you are. It keeps spinning, keeps demanding, keeps crushing you under its heel. And you either stand up and fight, or you disappear. But don't get it twisted. I don't fight for them. I don't fight for their approval, their love, or their pity. I fight because I refuse to let this hell define me. I fight because somewhere deep inside, There's a part of me that still believes I can be more than my pain, that I can rise, even if it's from ashes. You don't know my hell, but maybe you know your own. Maybe you felt that same crushing weight, that same darkness that makes you question why you even bother. And if you have, let me tell you this. Your pain is real. Your hell is real. But it doesn't have to be the end of you. Let it fuel you. Let it shape you. Let it remind you that even in the darkest night, there is still a flicker of light. And that light, it's you. It's the part of you that refuses to give up even when every bone in your body screams for rest. It's the part of you that keeps fighting, not because you're strong, but because you're too damn stubborn to quit. Cry if you need to. Scream if you have to. But don't you dare stop. Don't you dare let this world break you. They don't know your hell, and they never will, but you know it. And you are stronger than it. You are more than the pain, the scars, the endless nights. You are a warrior, not because you win every battle, but because you keep showing up no matter how hard it gets. This world doesn't owe you a damn thing, and it never will. But you owe it to yourself to keep going, to prove, if only to yourself, that you can endure, that you can rise, that you can turn your hell into something powerful, something unstoppable. They don't know your hell, and they never will, but let them see what comes out of it. Let them see the warrior who refuses to fall, the soul that refuses to break. Let them see you standing in the fire, unyielding, unbroken, and alive. And when they see you standing there, don't expect applause. Don't expect them to cheer or call your name. People only celebrate the kind of strength they understand. They don't understand what it takes to drag yourself through the mud every single day, to crawl when your legs give out, to bleed for a fight that doesn't promise victory. They'll look at you, and some will scoff. They'll say you've changed, that you're cold now, distant. Let them talk. They don't know the price you've paid to be here. They don't know the nights you spent breaking apart just so you could wake up in one piece. They don't know the weight of carrying your own damn soul when no one else was willing to lift a finger to help you. But, you remember every betrayal, every knife in your back. You remember the faces of the people who swore they'd stay, who told you they believed in you, only to vanish the moment the storm hit. You remember the taste of your own tears, the bitterness of swallowing your pride when you had no other choice. And you remember the silence, that crushing, deafening silence when you begged the universe for a sign, for a reason to keep going, and heard nothing but your own ragged breathing. That's when you learned that no one is coming to save you. No hero, no rescue, just you, alone, facing the dark. But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? When no one is there, you learn what you're really made of. When the world turns its back, you discover that you don't need it. You become your own savior, your own weapon, your own fortress. And every step you take after that is yours, not theirs, not for their approval or acceptance. Yours. But don't think for a second that this road gets easier. It doesn't. Hell doesn't loosen its grip just because you've learned how to fight. If anything, it tightens. It tests you harder. Because the stronger you get, the more it throws at you. The more it wants to see if it can finally break you. Let it try. Let the storms rage, the shadows creep, the demons claw. Let them come, because they'll never find what they're looking for. They want weakness, it's gone. They want fear, you've burned it out. They want surrender, they'll die waiting. You've been through too much to crumble now. Every scar on your body, every crack in your soul, they're not weaknesses, they're armor, proof that you've been to the edge and back, that you've stared into the abyss and told it to go to hell. But don't forget the cost. Don't forget the pieces of yourself you left behind. The innocence you'll never get back. The dreams that died along the way. They're not losses, they're sacrifices, necessary ones. Because you don't get to walk through fire and come out the same person. The flames change you. They take who you were and forge you into something harder, sharper, colder. And that's okay. The world doesn't need another soft soul. It needs warriors. It needs people who know what it's like to fall and still choose to stand. People who've been broken and still find the strength to build. People like you. But don't think for a second that being a warrior means you don't feel. Pain will always be there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for a quiet moment to strike. Some nights it'll hit you so hard you'll think you can't take another breath. And that's okay too. Let yourself feel it. Let yourself cry, scream, curse the heavens. Just don't let it consume you, because at the end of the day you're still here, still breathing, still fighting, and as long as you are, there's hope. Not the kind of hope they write about in fairy tales, but the kind that comes from knowing you've survived every battle so far. The kind that says, if I can endure this, I can endure anything. Don't stop now. Don't let the weight of the past anchor you. Don't let the pain of the present paralyze you. And don't let the uncertainty of the future terrify you. Keep moving, one step at a time, one breath at a time, because every step forward is a step away from the hell that tried to claim you. They don't know your hell, but one day they'll see what it made you. They'll see the fire in your eyes, the unshakable resolve in your stance. They'll see a warrior who didn't just survive hell, but used it as fuel. A warrior who didn't just escape the darkness, but learned to command it. Stand tall. Let them wonder, let them question, let them talk behind your back or doubt your strength. None of it matters. What matters is that you keep going. What matters is that you prove, if only to yourself, that you are more than the pain, more than the scars, more than the darkness that tried to claim you. They don't know your hell, but you're turning it into your kingdom. And one day, when they finally see the fire that burns inside you, they'll realize they were never worthy of standing beside you. Keep fighting, warrior. The world doesn't deserve you, but you deserve to conquer it anyway. And as you conquer it, don't forget the lessons that your hell taught you. Hell isn't just a place you survive. It's a place that teaches you who you are. Every scream you swallowed, every tear you buried, every wound you stitched up with trembling hands, they shaped you. They taught you resilience, even when it felt like it was killing you. They taught you to trust no one but yourself, to carry your own weight, because no one else ever could. Do you think they'll ever understand that? Do you think they'll ever look at you and see the nights you spent clawing your way out of the abyss? No, they won't. They'll see the surface, strong, unyielding, cold, and they'll envy you. They'll wish they had your strength, your composure, but they'll never wish for the journey that gave you those things, because they wouldn't survive it. They'd crumble under the weight of a single day in your shoes. That's why you stand apart. That's why you walk alone. not because you want to, but because the road you're on is too brutal for most. They don't understand that solitude isn't a choice. It's a necessity. You can't afford the distractions of weak people, of their petty judgments and shallow words. Your focus is your weapon. Your silence is your shield. And your scars, they are your crown. Don't let them tell you otherwise. Don't let their ignorance seep into your mind. They'll call you cold, distant, unreachable, but they don't know what it cost you to become this way. They don't know the weight of the sacrifices you made, the friends you lost, the dreams you buried. They don't know how many times you had to kill parts of yourself just to keep going. And they never will, because you don't owe them your story. You don't owe them your pain, your struggle, your truth. Those are yours. They belong to the warrior who stood in the fire and refused to burn, to the soul who faced the darkness and refused to be consumed. You might never hear the words you longed for. No one might ever say, "I see you, I understand." And that's okay, because you don't need their validation. You don't need their understanding. The only person who needs to see the truth of what you've endured is you. When you look in the mirror, you need to see the survivor, the fighter, the warrior who refused to quit. You need to see the strength in your own eyes, the fire that no one could extinguish. You need to see the person who kept walking, even when their legs gave out, even when their heart was breaking, even when the world tried to crush them. And you need to forgive yourself for the mistakes, the failures, the moments of weakness, for the times you broke down, for the times you gave up. Even if only for a moment, forgive yourself for not being perfect, for not being invincible. Because even warriors bleed. Even warriors fall. But you always got back up. That's what matters. Not how many times you fell, but how many times you rose. Not how many battles you lost, but the fact that you never stopped fighting. That's what makes you a warrior. Not the victories, not the glory, but the relentless refusal to stay down. Keep rising. Keep fighting. Keep walking through the fire, because every step forward is a step closer to the person you were meant to become. And that person, they are unstoppable. They are unbreakable. They are the embodiment of everything your hell tried to destroy, but couldn't. Let that be your legacy, not the pain, not the scars, but the strength that came from them. Let the world see what happens when someone refuses to be defined by their suffering. Let them see what it means to turn pain into power, to turn darkness into light, to turn hell into a weapon. And when they ask how you did it, when they finally notice the fire in your eyes and the steel in your soul, you don't owe them an explanation. You owe them nothing, because they didn't walk this road with you. They didn't carry the weight of your burdens. They didn't face your demons. But you did, and that's enough. You are enough. Your survival is enough. Your fight is enough. They don't know your hell, and they never will, but let them see the warrior it forged. Let them see the unyielding spirit that refused to break. Let them see the fire that burns brighter than any darkness. Let them see you alive, unstoppable, and rising. And when they see you rise, let them wonder. Let them stand in silence, unable to grasp how someone who was buried so deep could claw their way to the surface. Let them wrestle with their disbelief, because they'll never understand the price you paid. And honestly, they don't deserve to. They didn't sit with you in the silence, did they? They weren't there when the world collapsed around you. They didn't see you cry out, pleading for mercy from a universe that gave none. They didn't see you break, shatter, dissolve into a version of yourself you barely recognized. They only see the aftermath, the hardened shell, the battle-worn soul, the fire in your eyes that refuses to go out. But they didn't see the war. They didn't see the nights you spent wrestling with your own mind, trying to silence the voices that told you to give up. They didn't see the mornings where you forced yourself out of bed, not because you wanted to, but because you had to. Because stopping wasn't an option. Because the alternative, letting the darkness win, was too unbearable to imagine. They didn't see the choices you had to make, the sacrifices, the moments when you let go of people, dreams, even parts of yourself, just to keep moving forward. They didn't see the weight of those choices, how they left you hollow, how they carved pieces out of you that will never grow back. And yet, here you are, still standing, still breathing, still fighting. But don't let yourself believe for a second that this is over. Warriors like you don't get peace, not the kind they talk about in stories. You don't get a happy ending where the pain disappears, where the scars fade, where the memories stop haunting you. know the battles you fought will always linger. The wounds will always ache, especially on the quiet nights when there's nothing to distract you from them. But that's okay, because you've learned how to carry them. You've learned how to turn those wounds into wisdom, how to wear those scars like armor. You've learned how to use the pain to let it fuel you instead of destroy you. And that's a power most people will never understand. Let me tell you something about the world. It doesn't reward warriors like you. It doesn't celebrate the ones who survive the unthinkable. No, it reserves its praise for the ones who make it look easy, the ones who smile through their struggles and pretend everything's fine. But you're not here for their applause. You're not here to make anyone comfortable. You're here to live, to fight, to prove that even in the face of relentless pain, relentless loss, relentless darkness, you can endure, you can rise, and not just survive, but thrive, not just exist, but dominate. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Don't let their ignorance dim your fire, because they'll try. Oh, they'll try. They'll tell you to move on, to let go, to forget, as if forgetting were an option, as if you could erase the things that shaped you, the things that nearly destroyed you. But why would you want to forget? Why would you want to erase the very thing that made you who you are? Yes, the pain was brutal. Yes, the losses were devastating. But they forged you. They burned away everything weak, everything fragile, and left behind something unbreakable. You've faced hell, and you've emerged from it. Not unscathed. No, never unscathed, but alive. And that's enough. That's more than enough. Because every breath you take, every step you walk, is a defiance of the darkness that tried to consume you. Walk tall. Carry your scars with pride. Let the world see them, not as marks of your suffering, but as proof of your survival. Let them see the warrior who refused to be broken. Let them see the soul who chose to fight, even when the odds were impossible. And when they ask you how you did it, don't give them an answer. They won't understand. How could they? They haven't walked through your fire. They haven't faced your demons. They haven't felt the weight of your hell. But you have. And you've come out the other side stronger, fiercer, more alive than they'll ever be. You've turned your pain into power, your scars into strength, your hell into fuel. And that is a legacy no one can take from you. Keep walking, warrior. Keep fighting. Keep rising. Because your story isn't over. Your hell didn't defeat you. It defined you. It made you into the unstoppable force you are today. And as long as you keep moving forward, nothing, not the past, not the pain, not the darkness, can ever hold you back again. You are the fire that will never be extinguished. You are the storm that no one can outrun. You are the warrior they'll talk about for generations, not because you were perfect, but because you endured. And that is what it means to be truly, unbreakably alive. They don't know your